Good morning, students. This is day 4 of the chapter Anatomy of Flowering Plant, that is plant tissue. Today's topic will be xylem, that is a part of complex tissue. The main objectives of today's topic will be to state the features of complex permanent tissue, to describe the structural elements present in xylem tissue and their functions. We are going to discuss about the xylem tissue, the main elements of xylem tissue, their main functions, and what are their structure. Now the pages that we are going to cover today will be 340 till 343. Now take out your books and open page number 340. In previous video, we people have discussed that plant tissue is basically divided into two types, that is meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. Meristematic tissue is the tissue which consists of undifferentiated dividing cells, whereas permanent tissue is the tissue which consists of non-dividing differentiated cells. Meristematic tissue is further divided into three types, that is apical meristem, lateral meristem and intercalary meristem on the basis of their location. Whereas permanent tissue is divided into two types, that is simple tissue and complex tissue. Simple tissue is the tissue which consists of similar cells or only one kind of cells, whereas complex tissue is the tissue which consists of different kinds of cells which work together as a single unit. Apical, lateral and intercalary meristem collectively results in primary growth of plant, that is they helps to increase the length of plant, whereas simple tissue helps in storage of food, it helps in synthesis of food by the process of photosynthesis, it also provides mechanical support to the plant, whereas complex tissue is the tissue which results in the formation of vascular tissue, that is a tissue which helps in conduction of water and food. Student, like all living organisms, plant also have the same requirement of food and water to live. Talking about food, by now we all know that plant can prepare their own food by the process of photosynthesis as their autotrophs, but that too is prepared in leaves only, that is the green part of plant, and needs to be transported to all other parts of plant. In the same way, if we talk about water, plants are not capable of absorbing rainwater that falls on the surface of its aerial exposed parts, as all the aerial exposed parts of plants are enclosed by a thin waxy coat called as cuticle, which is covering the epidermis of plant. So it is actually the water which is present in the soil that is absorbed by roots of the plant and then it is transported to rest of the parts. That is the reason why it is generally advised to water the plant near to its root region. Now, unlike humans and animals, plant lack a circulatory system which includes blood, vein, artery to provide all the nutrients and water to its various parts. So what is it that make them transport food and water to its entire body? That is the main question. How does the water absorb in the roots, that is the lowermost part of the plant, reaches to all other parts, that too against the gravity? To perform this function, plant have a specific tissue called complex tissue or vascular conducting or transporting tissue, which is actually made up of different types of cells. It forms a continuous conducting tissue channel in vascular plants like the network of pipelines in our homes. And now we will discuss in detail about the complex tissues and its various components. By now we all know complex tissue is basically a tissue which consists of more than one type of cells and that work together to perform a specific function. It is heterogeneous. Heterogeneous means different composition. It is having different kinds of elements. The various components of vascular bundles or complex tissue includes xylem and phloem. Xylem is a conducting tissue for water and mineral from roots to various parts of plant, whereas phloem is a conducting tissue which helps in translocation of food from leaves to different parts of plant. Xylem, along with the conduction of water and minerals, also supports the organs of plant. That is, it also provides the mechanical strength to the plant, whereas phloem does not provide mechanical strength to the plant. Xylem is actually a dead tissue except xylem parenchyma. It includes 4 types of cells, out of which 3 are dead and only 1 is living, that is xylem parenchyma. Whereas phloem is a living tissue except phloem fibers. It is also including 4 types of cells, out of which 3 are living and only 1 is dead, that is phloem fiber. Xylem, main conducting tissue of xylem is vessel that are dead. Whereas if we talk about phloem, the main conducting tissue is sieve tubes which are living. Now we will discuss xylem tissues and its various components in detail. Xylem word comes from the word xylose, which means wood. So if we are talking about wood, it means that we are talking about xylem only. The term xylem was given by a scientist called Nageli. It forms a continuous water conducting tissue channel in vascular plants. The principal function we all know now, it is to conduct water and provide mechanical strength to the plant. The precursor of xylem and phloem is procambium. Now what is the meaning of precursor? Precursor represents a particular origin or the group of cells which is actually acting as the origin of the particular cell. For example, xylem's origin is from procambium. Procambium will divide and results in the formation of xylem tissue. Now, xylem is further made up of 4 types of elements, that is tracheids, vessels, xylem fibers and xylem parenchyma. Out of these 4 components, 3 are dead, that is tracheids, vessel and xylem fibers are dead, and only xylem parenchyma is the living component. Now we will discuss each and every component of xylem in detail, their structure, their function, location, everything. First of all, if we talk about tracheids, tracheids originates from procambium or vascular cambium. Students, when primary plant body is formed, apical meristem will divide and form tissue and helps in primary growth of plant. That time procambium is the part which forms xylem, tracheids, and during secondary growth when wood is formed, which is actually xylem, at that time vascular cambium forms xylem tracheids. So we can say that originated from procambium and vascular cambium. Tracheids, these are elongated cells with tapering ends. You can see here, these are elongated cells and they are having tapering ends. You can see here small structures are present. These are representing pits. We have already discussed what are pits. Pits are the pores which are present on the lignified tissue. Now they have thick lignified wall. As wall is thick, lignified, so its interaction with the neighborhood cells will stop. Plasmodesmata will be destroyed, so tracheids will die. So whenever the tracheids become mature, they die and it becomes functional only after its death, as its lumen, you can see here this empty space inside the cell is actually representing lumen, and this lumen become empty only after its death. Then only the conduction is possible from cell to cell. Next, as we have already discussed, thick lignified walls make these cells dead. That is the reason it is devoid of protoplasm. As its interaction with the neighborhood cells decreases, it becomes dead. Large lumen than fiber. They are having large lumen than that of fibers. Pits are present. Here both types of pits are present, simple as well as bordered. Here you should know what are simple pits and what are bordered pits. Actually, pits represents a area between two cells. You can see here, it represents an area between two cells which is representing plasmodesmata. Here only cell wall is present, and cell wall is freely permeable, means it allows exchange. Now as the cell wall is freely permeable, here only primary cell wall is present. There is free exchange of material between these two cells. But as the lignification starts, lignin starts depositing here on the cell walls. This interconnection becomes less. Now at that time two kinds of borders are formed. One is in case of which the primary wall is without any secondary thickening. Secondary thickening means lignification. Now, these kinds of pits will be called as simple pits. Second one is bordered pits. Bordered pits are actually dome shaped, and these are the pits which are surrounded by a secondary thickening, or we can say these pits are surrounded by lignified wall. That is the basic difference between simple pits and bordered pits. Now, in case of tracheids, simple as well as both bordered pits are present. These are the fundamental kind of cells and are primitive type of xylem cells. Primitive type means these are the first xylem elements that appears. Now, question arises, which plant group has developed first vascular bundle? The answer is pteridophytes. Pteridophytes are the plant groups in which vascular bundles are present, and they are called as tracheophytes. Tracheophytes is the basically word that is used for all those plants which possess vascular bundles. There are three categories which comes under this tracheophytes, that are pteridophytes, gymnosperms and angiosperms. All these three are having tracheophytes. Now, pteridophytes was the first one who developed vascular bundles, and these are the plants in which xylem only consists of tracheids. That means in case of pteridophytes, xylem only represents tracheid elements, whereas in case of gymnosperms, xylem also consists of 95% of tracheids only, and angiosperms are the first one. These are the advanced plants which consist mainly vessels. So these are present in all plant groups. Ancient vascular plants have only tracheids and xylem. Here ancient vascular plant represents pteridophytes. Before that, in case of bryophytes and algae, vascular bundles were absent. Pteridophytes were the first one who was having vascular bundles, and they are called as ancient vascular plants which possess tracheids only in their xylem. Now, if we talk about the functions of tracheids, the main function of tracheid is to transport water and provide mechanical strength. These are the primitive water conducting tissues predominant in lower vascular plants. They are the only conducting tissue in woods of ferns and gymnosperm. Here fern represents pteridophytes. In spite of being primitive, they conduct water and minerals from roots to aerial parts in ferns and gymnosperms. Water passes through the empty lumen without any obstruction by living tissues. It passes through the pits from one tracheid to another. Now we'll discuss about xylem vessels. In xylem vessels, we can see that these are elongated tube-like structures formed by fusion of several dead cells placed end to end in a row with their transverse wall dissolved. Now, actually these cells are formed by procambium or cambium cells. Here, in case of vessels, lignification, you can see here, these cells are placed end to end. Now, in these cells, lignification is controlled by the arrangement of microfibrils. Now, these microfibrils, they arrange themselves here along the longitudinal wall. As these cells will get mature, they will be having microfibrils along their longitudinal wall. Later on, here only where microfibrils are arranged, there only the lignification will take place, like this. As now you can see, the lignification takes place along the longitudinal wall only. There is no lignification on transverse wall. Later on, these walls will be dissolved by the enzymes cellulase and pectinase. So you can see here, there is no transverse wall, or we can see here the pores are formed due to transverse wall dissolution by cellulase and pectinase as they lack lignification. So that results in full xylem vessels. Each element of, you can see here, number of cells are arranged in one above the other. Each component of xylem vessel is called as vessel element. Now, here you can also see that xylem vessels are broader than tracheids and they possess a specific feature of perforation plates. This is the structure. Actually, this is a transverse wall between two vessel cells. Here, due to the dissolution by cellulase and pectinase, here pores are created. That pore may be single or that pore may be multiple. Due to the presence of the pores on this transverse wall, it is called as perforation plate. Now, if only a one or a single opening is present, it will be called as simple perforation plate, and if many openings are present, then it will be called as multiple perforation plate. Along with this, we can see that on the walls of vessels, number of pits are present, which also helps in transverse conduction of water, as these vessels are mostly surrounded by xylem parenchyma, which helps in transverse conduction of water to the sideward tissue. Now, these are most effective conducting tissue and can be seen in angiosperms or higher advanced plants. They arises from procambium and or cambium. These are long cylindrical tube-like structures, already we people have seen, formed by the fusion of several dead cells placed end to end in a row with their transverse wall dissolved. We people have already discussed how this transverse wall is going to dissolve. Each cell of vessel is called vessel element. Shorter and wider than tracheid. End walls have small opening that helps to perform their function. That is actually the perforation tubes which helps in conduction of water from one cell to another. These are dead and lignified. These are basically present in case of angiosperms with some exception, like it is also present in pteridophytes, that includes Selaginella and Pteridium, along with some gymnosperms that includes Genitum and Welschweisia and Ephrida. Now, if we talk about the functions of vessels, the main function of vessel is it helps in conduction of water in higher plants. Along with that, as it is a dead tissue, it also provides mechanical strength to the plant. Now, the next component of xylem is xylem fiber. Xylem fiber is actually the sclerenchymus fiber only. It is thin as compared to that of tracheids, but its structure is almost similar to tracheids. It is having elongated body with tapering ends with narrow diameter. It do not conduct water. The main function of xylem fiber will be it helps in providing mechanical support or mechanical strength to the plant. These are dead sclerenchymatous cells. It provides mechanical strength with the narrow lumen, abundant in woody dicots, as it is basically the main component of wood. It is having lignified cell wall, and this is basically a dead tissue. Next component is xylem parenchyma. Xylem parenchyma is the only living component of xylem. Rest three are dead one. This is the only which is the living part of xylem. It is having primary cell wall only. It is not having any sort of lignification. That is the reason it is a living tissue. Now, xylem parenchyma is further divided into two types. That is axial or wood parenchyma, and second one is ray parenchyma. Axial or wood parenchyma is actually the cells which are arranged vertically, and they are actually helping in the formation of new vessels. These are arranged vertically and they differentiate into new vessels. Second one is ray parenchyma, which are arranged horizontally and they helps in lateral conduction of water or radial conduction of water. Along with that, it also helps in some storage of some quantity of food also. Cells are thin walled. They are having intercellular spaces also. They are present in between xylem vessels and tracheids. Now, we'll discuss next two types of parenchyma, that includes apotracheal parenchyma. This is the parenchyma which is present in diffused form. And second is paratracheal parenchyma. Paratracheal parenchyma represents parenchyma which is actually surrounding the vessels compactly. So the main functions of xylem parenchyma is storage of food and radial conduction of water. They also helps in formation of new xylem vessels. Now, if we see the xylem tissue collectively, these cells, broad cells, elongated one, these are actually the xylem vessels. Next to these with the tapering ends, these are representing xylem tracheids. Here, these vertically arranged xylem parenchyma cells are representing wood parenchyma or axial parenchyma. Next to this, these are again tracheids. These are vessels, parenchyma cells, and in between, when these cells will become dead, they will form xylem fiber. Now, here you can see this is a first tracheid and this is second. Let it be. Now, here the longitudinal wall is having pores. These pores are paired pits. Pits are always present in the form of pairs. Actually, one wall is having one pit, second wall is having second pit, and through these only the conduction will takes place. So pits are always present in the form of pairs. These are representing paired pits, and here only like this the water will be transported in case of tracheids. Now, next we will discuss the difference between tracheids and vessels. We people have already discussed about tracheids and vessels. Now, we all know tracheids are single elongated cells, whereas vessels are formed by the fusion of several cells with dissolution of the end walls. Now, tracheids are small or short, approximately 0.5 mm to 1 mm in length. But if we talk about vessels, it ranges from 10 centimeter to 1 meter in length. That is the reason they help in conduction of water in case of higher plants, like in case of trees. Then they have tapering ends, we have already seen, but in case of vessels they have rounded ends. In case of tracheids, end walls are not perforated. There is no pores on end walls. Tracheids are not joined end to end. They are joined sidewise. Next is end wall shows perforation. In case of tracheids, lumen is narrow, while in case of vessels, lumen is wider. Now next we will discuss the difference between tracheids and fibers. Here you can see the difference between tracheids and fibers. Tracheids are the structures with wide lumen, whereas fibers are the structures with narrow lumen. Tracheids are less lignified as compared to that of fibers. Fibers are more lignified as their basic function is to provide tensile strength to plant. Tracheids helps in conduction of water, that is the basic function, but in case of fibers, they help in providing strength to the plant. Now, next we will discuss the different types of xylems on the basis of their origin. Here, xylem is basically divided into two types, primary xylem and secondary xylem. Primary xylem is the xylem which is the first formed xylem in growing plants, whereas secondary xylem is the xylem which is formed later from primary xylem only. Primary xylem is formed during primary growth, whereas secondary xylem is formed during secondary growth, that is during the formation of food. If we talk about primary xylem, it is formed from procambium, whereas secondary xylem is formed from vascular cambium. In case of primary xylem, xylem parenchyma is less extensive, whereas in case of secondary xylem, xylem parenchyma is more extensive. As here, it exists in two forms, that is ray and fusiform parenchyma. Primary xylem can be divided into two types, protoxylem and metaxylem. Protoxylem is the first formed primary xylem in the plants, whereas metaxylem is the primary xylem which is formed later. Now, protoxylem occurs in meristematic region, whereas metaxylem, it occurs in mature regions of organs. Now, they can be stretched as the lignin is not deposited over the entire wall. Whereas metaxylem, they cannot be stretched as the cellulose cell wall undergoes extensive lignification. Now lignification is only in the form of rings or in the form of spiral forms. Whereas in case of metaxylem, lignification is of three types: clariform, reticulate or pitted. Now, in case of protoxylem, they occurs where surrounding cells are still elongating, means it is present in between young dividing cells. Whereas if we talk about metaxylem, they occur where the surrounding tissues are not elongating. Protoxylem, they stretch and get crushed by the growing tissue surrounding them. They become non-functional as the plant matures, whereas metaxylems, they remain functional for long time till secondary growth occurs, which leads to the formation of secondary xylem. In monocots, it remains functional throughout the life of plant, as in case of monocots there is no secondary growth. On the basis of arrangement of protoxylem and metaxylem, primary xylem is further of two types, that is endarch and exarch. In stems, in case of stems, protoxylem is present towards the center and metaxylem is present towards the periphery. That is called as endarch. Endarch, end means from inner side to outer side, and from center to out. We can also learn in short form PSC. P means protoxylem, S means stem, and C means center. So in case of stems, protoxylem is present towards the center. As protoxylem is present towards the center, metaxylem will be towards the periphery. That arrangement is called as endarch. So in stems, arrangement of xylem will always be endarch. While in case of roots, protoxylem is towards the periphery and metaxylem is towards the center. This kind of arrangement is called as exarch. Ex means outside, exarch. Now we can also learn it as PRP. P for it is protoxylem, R means roots, and P means periphery. So protoxylem is present towards periphery. That is in case of roots. In roots, arrangement of primary xylem is always exarch. So this is about that is xylem. Now come to the page number 340 of your book. We can see here complex tissue. Unlike simple tissue, complex tissue consists of more than one type of cells and they work together to perform a specific function. Some of these cells could be living while some can be dead. They transport water, mineral salts and food material in the plants. That is the basic function of complex tissue. It is forming vascular tissue. Complex tissue is of two types, xylem or wood, phloem or bast. Now xylem and phloem together constitutes vascular bundles of the plant. They are conducting tissue of the plant present in stems, roots and leaves. In case of leaves, it is present in the form in midribs. Here, this is the midrib and veins. These all consist of xylem. Next is xylem. It has two basic functions in the plant: conduction of water, support to the organ. Next, xylem is commonly called wood. It forms the bulk of root and stem. It consists of four kind of cells: tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma and xylem fibers. Except xylem parenchyma, all other are dead. Now if we talk about tracheids structure, they are elongated tube-like dead cells. These single cells have tapering end wall with that overlap with adjacent tracheids. We can see here, this is a tracheid, tapering ends, elongated cells, dead cells. They have pits on its surface. They have hard, thick and lignified wall. They have empty lumen when mature. As we know, when they are getting mature, their protoplasm become dead, and as the protoplasm become dead, they becomes matured and they start performing their function. The wall usually have one or more rows of bordered pits. They are having both kind of pits, simple as well as bordered pits. Next is distribution. These are the primitive water conducting tissue predominant in lower vascular plants. These are the only conducting tissue in case of ferns and gymnosperms. Then vessels. Vessels, these are the elongated tube-like structures formed by the fusion of several dead cells placed end to end in a row with their transverse wall dissolved. We people have already seen how these xylem vessels are formed from xylem vessel elements. Each cell of a vessel is a vessel element which is shorter, wider than trachea. The wall and walls may have a single opening called simple perforation plate or many opening called multiple perforation plate. The thickening on the vessel could be annular, spiral or scleriform or reticulate. Distribution and function. These are the characteristics of angiosperm. Angiosperms represents higher plants or the modern plants. The vessels are often found along with tracheates, which are fewer in number. The long empty tube provide an ideal system of